Om Sri Sai Ram. I offer my humble salutations at the lotus feet of our loving Bhagwan. My sincere pranams to the respected elders, so many of them who have gathered here today, especially respected Sri Doragaru, who is the chairman of the Sathya Sai Nigamagamam Trust, and my most loving Sir, Dr. Ramchandra Reddy Garu, who is also with us here today. My loving Sai Rams to all the Sai brothers and sisters. And I also heard that some students from the neighborhood colleges also have congregated here today. We thank you all students for really sparing your Sunday and coming here for this function. To the extent possible, I will try to stick to Swami's dictum, Chesindi Cheppu, Cheppindi Chey. Talk what you have done and do what you are talking about. Dear friends, you will all agree that we are passing through a very difficult period. The human race is passing through a very difficult phase in human history. Everywhere, every field of life, every walk of life, there are problems galore. Whether it is at the international level, national level, state level, city, district, village level, everywhere there are problems, confusion, chaos. And at the individual level, peace and happiness seem to be elusive. The search for it looks like the search for the Himalayan 80. But still, if there can be one single reason which should make all of us feel happy today, notwithstanding all these problems, it is that we are born at a time when the supreme divinity, the cosmic consciousness, the Parabrahma Swarupam as they call, decided to take a human form and appear before us, not as one incarnation, but a triad, a triune of avatars, starting from Bhagwan Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, then Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, and in a few years to come, Bhagwan Sri Prema Sai Baba. This phenomenon of avatarhood has been aptly described as the descent of divinity for the ascent of humanity. This has occurred in the past also. We have heard of the Rama avatar, the Krishna avatar. But in those avatars, the Lord was of a kingly, princely nature. He was not easily accessible or available to the common man. Though I have read in the Krishna series book of K. Munshi of Bharati Vidya Bhavan, that even in the Krishna avatar, the Lord used to come out now and then. People used to throng. He used to sit on a raised platform. People used to line up and take his Pada Namaskar. But still, all said and done, they were not that easily available or accessible to the common man. But we all know in this avatar, Swami came down, literally so to say, moved with us, mixed amidst us. He moved totally amidst us and gave us the supreme gift of darshan, sparshan, sambhashan. Not only that, he started institutions, an avatar doing that in the field of, as you know, Swami used to call Vidya and Vaidya. And not only that, he presided over a huge organization, the Sathya Sai Seva organization, in which thousands of us have got enrolled and enlisted out of his sheer compassion. But, it's a very big but. The question arises, now that Bhagavan is not there physically with us, what does all this mean? After all, Swami is not there with us physically. Even now, I know some devotees, many devotees, friends, for whom there is a deep pain in the heart, which is untreatable. They are still feeling bad about Swami's not being there in the physical frame. A deep wound which refuses to get healed. And for those of us who have seen Bhagavan physically, or even been close to him on the physical plane, It is hard to reconcile to the fact that God is eternal, God is universal, God is Sarvantaryami, all these things we know. But still for us, God means we identified with that physical frame of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. This is a very important issue. Now that Swami is not there physically with us, what do all these things mean? In a harsh way, it may be even asked, are they relevant now? This has to be addressed. This has to be clarified, because otherwise it may result in changed behavior of devotees, altered actions, lack of interest in spirituality, or slackening of spiritual sadhana, which would be a great loss for all the devotees and detrimental to the organization also. And also people would start saying, the world will say, after all, yours was not an organization, it was a cult which revolved around an individual. We need to clarify this issue. I would like to address this in a threefold manner, 3 parts. Part 1, I would start by quoting an incident, narrating an incident which was told to me by our organization elder, late Sri Nigamagamam. It seems his father was not a devotee of Swami in the commonly understood meaning of the word. He had a healthy respect for Swami. Once he prevailed upon his father and brought him to Puttaparthi. Swami gave them an interview. During the course of the interview, Swami asked him, "Em kavalo adugu, I'll give you. Whatever you want, I'll give you." Then he said, "I don't want anything." Swami said, "No, you must be. Definitely there must be something within you. You want something, please ask." Then he said, "Swami, if possible, please get me back the protective amulet of our family, Thai Tantangada, which is passed from generation to generation. I lost it when I had a dip in the Pushkaralu." Then Swami waved his hand and brought out the amulet. Mr. Ramanrao told me it was exactly the same, because it had a knot at the end and it was also slightly soiled, because it has been being passed from generation to generation. Then his father asked Swami, it seems, "Swami, how is it? I had lost this amulet in 1921. You were born in 1926. How is it then you could bring out something which was even before your birth?" Then Swami smiled and told him, "It seems elementary, my dear child. God is always there. He is eternal. It is only that you are not able to see him, or it is only that he takes a human form now and then, but he is there always eternal." So from 2013, now if we take prospectively also, I think we should all be happy to an extent with this assurance which Swami had given to Mr. Ramana Rao's father. But you may say, "Sir, again, this is a more philosophical explanation." Just as I told a few minutes back, it is hard to reconcile God is universal, eternal, Sarvantaryami and all. So the second part, I'll try to give a more practical explanation, and that concerns Swami's darshan, sparshan and sambhashan. As you all know, darshan is something which is related to his physical body, and Swami also said the physical body, even if an avatar, has got limitations. He told us, he specified us as to how many years he will be in that body. But in the case of Swami, there is something special, and that concerns his photograph. I don't know how many of you know this. You would understand it better if I narrate this incident. I know it for sure. I can vouchsafe for it, the authenticity of it. The world-renowned Carnatic musician M.S. Subbalakshmi had come to Vrindavan for Swami's darshan. Swami went to the room where she was staying with her husband. She became a little nervous. Then she told Swami, "The room is so beautiful. There are so many beautiful photographs of yours." Then Swami said, "Whose photographs?" "Swami, it's your photographs." Then Swami replied, "It seems, adi photo kaadu, nenu." So in the case of Swami, there is no difference between the photo and Swami. That is why Swami had told many times, even if someone has seen my photo once, their life is sanctified. And dear devotees, tell me, is this not the greatest evidence is there that it is only from the photo? Vibhuti, Kukumam, honey even now comes. And for those who have not seen Bhagavan, After all, there's a deep regret. I know many devotees actually there. After all, we didn't have darshan of Bhagavan. Is this not a great, not a solace, but a reality? So in the case of Swami's photo, that is why in my room, if there are 4 photographs of Swami, moment I go for work, I go and bow down my head to each of the photographs. Each of it is Swami himself. It has not happened in the past with any god which we have heard. Rama, Sita and all, Vibhuti, Kumkumam, all this coming. Regarding sparshan, as you know, again it is led physical body. Now we come to Sambhashan. As you know, the messages of Swami are for eternity, just as Lord Krishna's Bhagavad Gita. But in the case of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord had to deliver it in the middle of the battlefield. Time must have been a constraint for him, and that is why it is more an outline of the 4 major yogas. But in the case of Swami, Bhagavan has delivered hundreds of talks on literally every subject. Written books, we have the Vahini series, we have the Samarshars of Swami, and there is a message for everybody. And believe me, even for a 4 or 5-year-old child, Swami has addressed. There is a beautiful song which Swami has sung, how a child should get up from sleep, brush his teeth, not trouble his mother, and then get ready to go to school. Swami has given guidance to that extent. There is a message for the youth, for the grahastha, the householder, for senior citizens. There is an advisory note for doctors, lawyers, artists, musicians. Anybody under the sky, Swami has addressed. And his messages are for eternity. And for doctors who are here, Swami has given advice not only for doctors, but even for the paramedics. I'll narrate one incident. There was a group which was called for interview. It was a big group consisting of both doctors and paramedics. Then Swami suddenly asked one of the individuals, "Nuem seva chestav?" He said, "Swami, mandul istanu, pharmacist." Then Swami asked, "Mandulaki mitaiki em teda?" This man got perplexed. Swami is asking, between medicines and sweets, what is the difference? He said, he thought over and thought, "Swami, mitai తీపిగా ఉంటుంది, కానీ మందులు చాలా వరకు కొంచెం చేదుగా ఉంటుంది Swami." It looked a reasonable answer, but Swami said, "అది కాదు. 10 లడ్డూలు ఉంటే దాన్ని 20 ముక్కలు చేసి 20 మందికి ఇవ్వచ్చు. కానీ మందులు మాత్రం అట్లా చేయొద్దు. 10 మందికి ఉంటే 10 మందికే ఇవ్వాలి. మీరేం చేస్తారు మెడికల్ క్యాంప్స్లో నాకు తెలుసు, లాస్ట్లో రాక డాక్టర్లు 10 మాత్రలు రాస్తే 5 మాత్రలు ఇస్తారు." Then that individual said, "Swami, rush ఎక్కువైపోతే ఏం చేయాలి?" Then Swami said, "It's in poor planning. When you go to a village, you should know, the doctors will tell you, the population of the village, 2,000, how many patients will normally come and how many of them will have complaints of, say, pain. So the pain tablets, if you are going to give 10 per individual, if there are 100 patients whom the doctors say they are expecting, you should keep 1,000 tablets." But Swami said, apart from this, మీరేం చేయాలి, ఒక 10 to 20% బఫర్ స్టాక్ అని పెట్టుకోవాలి. అది ఒక పెద్ద కార్టన్లో పెట్టి కట్టి పెట్టుకోవాలి. If you fall short of medicine, open it and then back home replenish it. See, can an avatar of the universe, the Lord of the universe, come down and advise to such a minute extent? So the messages of Swami, will you not agree, is for eternity? The relevance of Swami, is it not for eternity? Bhagavan is not there with us physically. We should not ask, so what? What does it mean to me? Yes, it means that he is very much relevant, if not more relevant. The third part of my answer concerns the fortune aspect. As we all know, Swami has told repeatedly that those who are born at the time when the avatar takes a human form are fortunate. More fortunate are those who have realized that he is an avatar. Not the absolute philosophical realization, but at least a theoretical understanding. But he said, most fortunate are those whom I have chosen to be in the avataric mission. And those who have been enrolled and enlisted in this are the most fortunate ones, because Swami said, my organizations which I start, my institutions, will be there for thousands of years, will be for eternity. So a Sathya Sai Seva organization member, it is not that he should have joined at the time when Bhagavan was there physically. Even now, Venkatrao Garu knows, even now if he joins, wears this scarf, he is the most fortunate. And I can substantiate this by quoting 2 incidents. The first one is what was told to me, an organization elder like Mr. Doragaru. He told me in Bangalore, it seems, he was with Swami in Swami's room. They were alone. Swami looked very relaxed. Then he asked Swami, Swami, we all think we are close to you, but to whom you are close, Swami? Swami got a little this. He waited for a while. It looked as though he would not give the reply, but then he told, it seems, partly in English, partly in Hindi, in Telugu. He told, it seems, to whom I have given my work, or through whom I am getting my work done. He point daka English, and then in Telugu lo chepparanta, veella tappa nakevaru close kaadu. This is the beauty of members of Sathya Sai Seva organization who have been given the divine work by the Master. And on another occasion, I had taken a team of super specialty doctors. Dr. Ramchandra Reddy was with us. He only, in fact, organized the trip. Swami came in the morning and told me, hospital chupi vallaki, madhyanam meeto matladtanu. And then the evening when he came, he called us and he looked at us and said, which part of my hospital did you like most? And doctor. One doctor said, Swami, the beautiful architecture. Swami started nodding his head in disagreement from the beginning. Then one doctor said, Swami, that chandelier, such a big chandelier we have never seen, especially when it is lighted. One doctor said, Swami, the state-of-the-art equipment. One doctor said, Swami, free services where nowhere it is given. Swami was just saying no. And then in the end, Swami said, Kaadu. Akkada pani chese na sevadal. He patted his chest. I can never ever forget that. That is why even now, when Duragar called me, I told, sir, I am also a sevadal. That's the greatest honor. Because Swami said, Vallu na manushulu. He said, చూడండి ఎంత స్పిక్ అండ్ స్పాన్గా హాస్పిటల్ పెట్టారు వాళ్ళు. డబ్బులు ఇస్తే కూడా ఎవరు ఇంత క్లీన్గా పెట్టలేరు. సో ద రెలవెన్స్ ఆఫ్ స్వామి ఈజ్ దట్ దోస్ హూ హ్యావ్ బీన్ గివెన్ ద డివైన్ వర్క్, especially the members of Sri Sathya Sai organization or any other institution which has been founded by Bhagavan, like this, people who are working here, who are serving here in that medical camp, we are the most fortunate. Let us now never ever have this question, Bhagavan is not there physically with us, let us not be. In fact, the responsibility for us is more. Anyway, having understood that we are the most fortunate, having realized, yes, Swami is relevant, how are we going to lead our lives? How are we going to conduct ourselves? How are we going to be? What are we going to do? This is called the being and doing of life. Firstly, Swami himself, as you know, in his inexplicable, inimitable style of simplifying the most complex thing, only an avatar can do that, told us once, Swami, life చాలా కాంప్లికేటెడ్ ఉంది, devotees కి కూడా ఏం చేయాలి స్వామి, ఎట్లా ఏం చేయాలి? Then Swami said, you have to lead your life just as an actor does acting on the stage. The actor knows that he is not the role what he is playing, but still he plays it perfectly. Lead your life like an actor on the stage, but I know for you the role, the acting is very difficult because you have to play multiple roles, whereas the actor is playing only one role. Though in the past we have heard of double acting, triple acting by N.T. Ramarao and all, you have to play multiple roles. You are a son to your parents, you are a husband to your wife, you are a father to your children, you are a brother to your brothers and sisters, you are a worker in the place where you are working, and you are a neighbor in the locality where you are staying. Inni roles, but still play all these roles perfectly. That will confer you eternal peace and happiness, and that is the royal road to the realization of the absolute truth also. Such a simple, of course, it's not that easy, but the way Bhagavan puts it. Secondly, you all know, Swami has given us the 5 human values, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema and Ahimsa. Are they not enough for us to be guides and for us to lead our lives? And as you all know, in this, Swami gives the highest importance to Prema. Swami says God is love, love is God. And he has exhorted us repeatedly in his speeches. Start the day with love, fill the day with love, end the day with love. This is the way to God. And As you know, for doctors, he said, if you treat your patients with love, 60% of the ailment goes away. And Swami's emphasis on love, Prema Mida Swami Ichina emphasis, it seems to me that Swami has propounded a fifth yoga for this Kali Yuga, and that is Prema Yoga. We have heard of Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga. But the fifth yoga, we should realize, Swami has propounded, and perhaps this is the easiest, the simplest for us. But Swami says, love is subtle. You have to translate it into action. And when you translate it into action, it becomes Tyaga and Niswartha Seva, about which we shall see now. Thirdly, when we talk about how are we now going to lead our life, conduct ourselves, Swami has given us the twin formula for our spiritual sadhana. We all know, Sathya Sai devotees at least, we are all serious seekers. We are consciously aware of life. That life is not just for, as Swami Shivananda used to speak, is there not a holy mission, eating, drinking, sleeping, bathing, Hare Rama, he used to sing. We all know that life is not for that. There is a meaning in our life. There is a purpose in our life. All of us know that. That way we have really escaped Sathya Sai devotees. So what is the sadhana for us? Because for this purpose we need a conscious exercise, a sustained exercise, and that is called sadhana. And the Yuga sadhana which Swami has given us is a twofold one, Namasmarana on one side and Niswartha Seva on the other side. Actually, the real part of my talk, I am coming now only to Seva. But I will not hold you long back, but I would like to really talk only on Seva because I am a field worker. Anyway, we will start with Namasmarana. Namasmarana, as we all know, is a simple, sweet and apparently easy sadhana. But Swami, when he was asked once, Swami, why is it Namasmarana inta suluvaina sadhana kada? Enduku chala mandi bhaktulu adi teeskoni జీవితం ఒక లక్ష్యము ఆత్మ సాక్షాత్కారం ఎందుకు పొందుతలేరు? Why not many people do this? Then Swami told, it seems ఆ నామాన్ని తీసుకోవాలంటే కూడా నా అనుగ్రహం ఉండాలి. And one thing about Namasmarana is we cannot take it, do it as the solo sadhana, because in Kali Yuga we don't have that much dispassion and detachment. There are too many attractions and distractions. That is why the avatar has given us a revised prescription. Actually, you all know Kali Yuganiki Namasmarana Chala Neval. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. The Mahamantra Kirtan, as it is called, was said to be enough for Kali Yuga. But Swami came up with a revised prescription, knowing the deficiencies, as I just now mentioned, of the human race, and that is Namasmarana on the one side, the two wings of the spiritual bird, Namasmarana, Niswartha Seva. But the beauty about Namasmarana is you can do it even when you are in work. Dil mein Ram, Haat mein Kaam, that is what Sant Kabir Das said. And as regards efficacy of Namasmarana, just as because we are doing Seva, we should never forget that we have to always keep on remembering the Lord, keep on writing to Him. That should be the inner beat of our heart. Otherwise, Swami said, it becomes a social service, a showy service. It doesn't become a spiritual service. The efficacy of Namasmarana, there is one story related to Sant Kabir Das. I might have narrated this, believe me, in at least 300, 400 villages, in so many forums. But still, I like telling it again and again because I want to also hear it in the process. As you all know, Sant Kabir Das was a saint. He did not belong to Ramayana Mahabharata time. He was there about 300, 400 years back. He had an extraordinary power. Kushtarogamu, leprosy to everyone stay. Kabir used to put his hand and say Ram. And when he removed his hand, the disease would disappear. This I have read as a student of history, in history. One day Kabir was not there at home. His son Kamal was there. There came a leper tapping the door. The son was also a very noble son. He felt very bad. His father is not there. Let me try what my father does. He put his hand on the leper's hand and said, Ram, 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 3 times. And when he opened his eyes, the disease disappeared. He was so happy, thrilled when his father came. He jumped, he laughed, and he thought his father would hug him, would congratulate him. But Kabir got a little angry and slapped him on the face. Then Kamal said, Daddy, I have done such a good work. Inta manchi pani chesanu nanu enduku dandistunnaru? Why are you punishing them? Then Sant Kabir told, it seems, Hey pichi vedava, oka kushtarogam povalante 3 సార్లు చెప్తావారా రామనామము? ఒక్కసారి చెప్తే చాలు. This is the beauty of the name of the Lord, because the name and the form are not separate. That is why in our culture, moment we call somebody, we say Sai Ram. At least unknowingly, by default, you take the name of the Lord. Such a beautiful thing. Even when you go for your morning walk, so nice it is, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Anyway, we come next now to the actual seva, about which Swami is very particular, which is very dear to his heart, and that is Niswartha Seva. Swami has told us that I have myself taken a human form and come down on Mother Earth to do seva. How happy I'll feel if you also join me in the seva. And our scripture says the very purpose of human birth is seva. Paropakaram idam shariram is what is written in the super specialty hospital as you enter. And not only that, Swami has named our organization itself as Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization. We have Ramakrishna Mutt, we have Chinmaya Mission, we have Divine Life Society, Ramachandra Mission, but only our organization has got the suffix Seva. It does not mean that we are going to do so many works and improve the socio-economic status of the world. Yes, that may happen on the sidelines. That may happen as a spillover effect. But it means that those who are going to join this organization, Swami said, are going to take seva as an expression of prema, of course, not as some social work. Seva as their primary sadhana for their onward and forward journey towards realization of the absolute truth. And Swami, I think many of you would have read, has told that Niswartha Seva, if done in the way he has told, will take us directly to the 9th step in Navavida Bhakti Marga. As you know, Sravanam, Mananam, I don't know but the 9th step, Atma Samarpanam, Seva takes us directly there. And Swami once said, Seva is the highest form of puja. Because when you do puja, you are not only locking yourself in a small room, but also the Lord of the universe in a small room. But when you do seva, you are worshipping his Virata Sarupa, his manifest form. And Swami once told again, seva is also the highest form of meditation. Mind you, it is the highest form of dhyana. Because meditation by definition is the constant flow of thoughts in one direction to the exclusion of all other thoughts. And when we are doing seva, what happens? Especially a selfless service, not our routine homework. We forget our family. We forget the world. We forget our body. The self in us goes out. So we become selfless. The aim of sadhana itself is to become eternally selfless. By such repetitive acts, divine grace, they say, sets in, and you become eternally selfless. That is why only in seva you have the word selfless service. We don't have selfless japa or selfless dhyana. I am not trying to demean the other sadhanas, but even Swami has talked so much about other sadhanas like japa, dhyana and all. But we should intelligently look at when Swami has gone into a comparative tone, when he is comparing the sadhanas, what has he told us? And very simple, he has told us, hands that help are holier than lips that pray. So seva, Niswartha Seva, as a manifestation of prema, the prema yoga about which we talk, is the highest. Now this seva, as you all know, can be done and should be done by all of us at the individual level, at the family level, at the community level. At the individual level, it is more an attitude, not only an activity. An attitude of trying to help. Like, you know, I was trying to climb the flight plane which I came. I had a heavy handbag and I was finding it difficult. The stairs were steep. I had an injury to my left knee ligament, and one individual who was walking suddenly lifted the suitcase, kept it at the end. That is spontaneous seva. At the individual level, it is always an attitude, how I can search for it. Because Swami once said, Seva ivvapadadu, meeru vettukovali. So in this respect, I use this opportunity boldly to tell him that in my life, I saw the seva of an individual, Mr. Rommel of the passport office. And believe me, when I had done my MBBS and M&AMS is DNB nowadays, what we call. You know, I was, in fact, a critic of Swami. But seeing him, he used to have a badge, do it now, or may I help you? And he used to sit in the entry point of the passport office on an ordinary table, as though soliciting customers to give him something. No, he used to deal there. And when my brother-in-law, I sent him, my brother-in-law, he said, go and sit inside, there's a room there, he'll be there. And when he went there, nobody was there. But after 5 minutes, the same man who was sitting at the counter, entry point, he comes and sits in his seat. This is the beauty. And that is why Swami says, my life is my message, he used to say to start with. But then now he says, in the end he said, your lives should be my message. So anyway, at the individual level, dear friends, all of you please hear, one seva which we have to do by default. Otherwise, Swami has said, you are not eligible for God's grace. And I don't know Mr. Doragaru much, but I have heard about him that sir is very well known for that seva, and that is parental seva. Tallidandrulaki chese seva. Swami said, if you have not done that properly, you are not entitled to come near me. During the course of an interview, I asked Swami, Tallidandrulaki veelaintoru baane chestunanu, vallaki vayasu ayipoyindi, please bless them. Swami said, I will bless them, but enduku manam Tallidandrulaki seva cheyali? And then he himself said, valle kada manaku food istaru. The food which you eat, only your parents give when you are still small. ఆ ఫుడ్ మీకు తెలుసు బ్లడ్గా తయారవుతుంది, డాక్టర్లు మీరు. ఫుడ్ బ్లడే కాదు, థాట్స్ కూడా ఫుడ్ నుంచే వస్తుంది. యాజ్ యు నో, ది ఆరిజిన్ ఆఫ్ థాట్స్ ఇస్ ఆల్సో ఫ్రమ్ ది సటిల్ ఆస్పెక్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఫుడ్. ఫుడ్, బ్లడ్, హెడ్. అండ్ దెన్ హీ సెడ్, ఈ మూడు కలిస్తే మీకు సంపాదన శక్తి, దుడ్డు. ఫుడ్, హెడ్, బ్లడ్, దుడ్డు అంత పేరెంట్స్ ఇస్తున్నారు కదా. అండ్ హీ సెడ్, వాళ్ళు పేరెంట్స్ కాదు, పేరెంట్. Just as మీరు ఒక బాడికి ఇల్లులో ఉంటే, you are living as a tenant, you have to pay rent always. You are eternally indebted, you have to be to your parents. So at the individual level, mind you all, we need to do that sadhana to at least get some pass marks. I know it may be difficult for some of us because of so many reasons, but still consciously we have to try to do that intelligently also. Then the seva at the family level is also very important. Because the fundamental unit of Indian society is family. All the members of the family have to be on the same page, the same wavelength. Then only it will facilitate the evolution, the onward and forward movement of the other members. So each one complementing and supplementing the other. That is why in Begumpet Samiti, మేమేం చేసేవాళ్ళం అంటే, ఈ 80th birthday అట్లా ఉంటుంది కదా, 80 days bhajan nagar sankirtan. I thought, Swami has given us a twin sadhana. Namasmarana Seva. So it is, most of these bhajans were in the houses. So we felt that every family, the day bhajan takes place in their house, all the family members should gather, maybe take leave of absence from office and do a small seva. And we gave a list of so many sevas which can be done. Going to a temple, giving the Narayanas there something to eat, or arranging a temple bell, or a slipper stand, or making a board ready. Every day you go and write in that. One saying need not be of Swami, can be of any other saint also. So many, for doctors we told them, you can buy a lumbar belt. For some people, you know, did the service of buying, suppose a barber is there in their same colony, you know, he has a set of instruments. A cycle repairer has got. So we said at the end of 80 days, we will put at the lotus feet of Swami 80 bhajans, 80 nagar sankirtans, and 80 small sevas. Because that's all Swami, you know very well, does not see the size of the seva, the bhav, the motive with which he has done. So family seva is also very important. And we should somehow try to, in our Hyderabad Urdu, I am also Hyderabad, abracadabra they say. Somehow convince the other family members and then bring them into seva. And seva at the community level is always has to be, dear friends, through Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization only. At least for Sai devotees, please don't go to any other organization. Because this is the only organization which was founded, which was presided over, which has the eternal blessings of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, the Lord of the universe. And a small seva done here, I know, like just wearing a scarf and standing at the door, regulating the flow, is infinitely better for our evolution, for our forward movement, because than even the best service somebody may be doing in Bosnia, Ethiopia, or now in Ukraine. No, this seva is superior because this is a seva which has been given to the Jivatma by the Paramatma, directly handed over. Whereas the other seva you are doing in Ukraine and all is a seva which the Jivatma itself decided. So the community seva, dear friends, have to be done only through Sathya Sai Seva organization. And you cannot find a more purer, transparent organization than our beautiful organization. My going to Prashanti Nilayam and getting seva at the lotus feet of Bhagavan in the form of 2 institutions is solely because I was a good sevadal here in Hyderabad. Anyway, now that we know that seva is the highest sadhana Swami has prescribed, there are some qualifications which are required at the individual level, and when we do seva at the group level or the organization level, there are some guidelines. We'll quickly see what are these. At the individual level, there are 5 requirements. First is arogya, second is prarthana, tapana, dhyaga, and 5th is jnana. First is arogya. As a doctor I know, but unfortunately we talk only, even I have not followed it correctly. Fundamental to any success, let it be in spiritual world or material world, is the presence of a strong and robust health. Do you know that Adi Shankaracharya, the greatest exponent of Vedanta, for whom the world did not exist, he said it's all creation of the mind. When he was asked, sir, which is the greatest asset for man in this world? He did not say Vairagya, Viveka, Buddhi and all. Being a Vedantin, he said Arogya. The unfortunate aspect of Arogya for all of us is, we realize its value only when it is lost. And regarding health, I will tell you, Swami once asked us in the interview, health ante etla define chestar. And we doctors started in the standard World Health Organization, fashion. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and Swami said, stop, agandi, nenu cheptanu. And he said, health is the most important requirement for a human being, and it depends on 5 things, Swami said. Ahara, the food that you eat. Vihara, wherever you go out, clubs and all, and also physical exercise. 3, achara, your conduct. The ego clashes in offices leads to hypertension, heart attacks, especially the higher cadre. And 4th, he said, uchara, the way you talk also, it will determine your health. And 5th, he said, vichara, our thoughts. And he said, in this, ahara first, vichara 5th, are the most important. So, dear friends, let us all take care of our health. And in this context, I would like to tell you as a doctor, experienced doctor, that please undergo what is called screening test. Chala mandi antaru, nakem ledu, nenu oka matra kuda teesukoledu chinappudi nunchi. These are all waste, It doesn't mean that you have not taken, you may not. Please, for ladies, for example, mammogram. For gents, we have got stress test, ECG, echocardiogram, prostate-specific antigen. Please get screening tests done, because medical technology, medical knowledge has advanced so much, it can be diagnosed at the early stage, especially if you are under the guidance of one of our Sai doctors. Second requirement for seva to be done in the way Swami has told us is prarthana and tapana. Seva does not come on a platter, my dear. You have to pray for it. You have to pray sincerely. You have to yearn for it. Tapana badali. Often we reconcile thinking, what can I do? I am working in a very busy job. Children are there, I have to take them to school. I don't have time for seva. In one interview, one youngster told Swami, seva cheyalani undi, kani software job, time ledu Swami. Then Swami, do you know what he told? Idi ikkada nunchi vachi maatalu, utti maatalu, ikkada nunchi raaledu. And then he asked him, నువ్వు నిజంగా సేవ చేయలేకపోతున్నానని బాధపడ్డావా, తపన పడ్డావా, నా ఫోటో ఎదురుగా కూర్చొని నువ్వు ఏడ్చావా? స్వామి, నాకు సేవ చేయాలని ఉంది కానీ సమయం లేదు స్వామి. నువ్వు అలా చేయలేదు. నువ్వు చేసి ఉంటే I would have created time for you because I am the overlord of space and time. నువ్వే ఆశ్చర్యపడిపోతావు, అరే నేను ఎలాగ ఆఫీస్ పని చేయగలుగుతున్నాను, పిల్లల్ని చూసుకోగలుగుతున్నాను, సేవ కూడా చేయగలుగుతున్నాను. సో ఫర్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ us who are caught in tight circumstances by virtue of job or family circumstances, please pray to Swami, please write letters to Swami, keep it on his altar. Swami, please grant me seva, because you have said seva is the highest sadhana, more than anything else. I don't know why Sai devotees nowadays are going in a pilgrimage spree, going to Kedarnath, going to ఇది ఎందుకండి, మనకు అవసరమే లేదు. మ్యాక్సిమం పుట్టపర్తి సమాధి దర్శన్ Swami said is as much as the practical physical form of Swami's darshan. Anyway, the fourth requirement for seva is tyaga. Seva should be a product of tyaga, sacrifice. It is not that just because I have some extra time, now that I am retired, I have no other work. Okay, that's also okay, it's good. Not that I have to, or I have something extra, let me give. No. The real seva comes when you have sacrificed something. And here, I am not going to feel shy because it is a message which would be an example for others. You know, we have crossed the stage of personalizing ourselves. Can you believe, my dear friends, the glory of Swami it is that for the last 17 years, I am serving at the lotus feet on a purely honorary basis. And Swami said, he will take care of everything. I don't take a pie. But if anybody says, I say it is the glories of the master. There may be many people who want to do this, but వాళ్ళకు circumstances may not suit. They have to, pray and pray. But నాకు అదృష్టం కలిగింది, I am able to do. And believe me, nobody from my family, even my wife, who is a space scientist, my parents, nobody objected. Though my father used to feel, because he did a lot of cycling and came up in life, that ఏమ్రా వీడు ప్రతి నెల ఒక్క పైస కూడా తీసుకురాడు ఇంటికని. He cried before one doctor, Dr. Raghavadath, but the doctor said, మీరు డబ్బులు తెస్తలేడని ఏడు, మీ కొడుకు మీతో లేడు, 15 రోజులు వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాడని మీరు బాధపడితే ఆయన. So anyway, seva has to be a product of tyaga. Then comes the beauty of it. And finally, seva needs jnana also. Swami has said the head, heart and the hands have to be in perfect unison. Then only real seva comes. And one or two more aspects of seva I'll just quickly tell. And finally, being a doctor, I'll talk a little about medical seva. I think overall 5 or 10 minutes. I'll not hold you back more than that. So the other aspect of seva is, in seva, it is not the quantum or the type of seva which we do. As I said, it is the motive, the bhav with which we do. And that is why in the Ramayana, the squirrel, which did a small job of lifting a small stone, attracted the Lord's attention. He picked it up and stroked it. But an important, careful lesson, I use the word careful lesson that we have to take is, the squirrel was a very light-weighted creature. Must be about 50, very light it would be. And for that small stone would have been a big weight. But if we have the strength of an elephant, ఏనుగు బలం పెట్టుకొని నేను ఉడత సేవ చేస్తాను చాలని అనుకోవద్దు. Nothing more, nothing less. We have to do seva according to our ability, according to our capacity and our resources. Nothing more, nothing less. And second thing about seva is in the organization. Sathya Sai Seva Organization, because I was also a member. Please don't yearn for organizational posts. As I said, the best post is Seva Dal. Because if you are a Seva Dal, you can do any type of service. You can join a bhajan, stand there and regulate, arrange the chappals, very important bhajans. Swami has told many times, నేను వచ్చాను కానీ మీ చెప్పులన్నీ అడ్డం ఉన్నాయి వెళ్ళిపోయాను. Or the car parking outside a bhajan area, people should not grumble at us, ఏం భజన చేస్తున్నారు వీళ్ళు కార్లని అడ్డం ఉన్నాయి. So, a Sevadal can do that. A Sevadal can join a medical camp. A Sevadal can participate in Narayan. But if you are a Samiti convener or a district president or AP president, most of your time will be in phoning everybody, writing reports. No pure sadhana. So the best post is Sevadal. And Swami once said, I give marks out of 100 for everybody. So if you are given a small seva, you will not commit many mistakes. You will get 90 or 95. Whereas if you are given a big task as a state president, you are bound to commit mistakes. So your marks, your score would be only 75 or 80 out of 100. But that does not mean if you are given a bigger responsibility, you should reject it. No, that also is wrong. Because I was there once in Darshan, one devotee told Swami, I think he was some state president, district, whatever. He told Swami, naki post anta voddu, edo chinna seva cheskuntanu Swami. Then Swami asked him, em ra nenu neeku baruvu ayipayana? Or lekapothe nu chestunnavani anukuntunnava? So, if we are given a bigger responsibility also, please take it up. But please don't yearn for posts and all. The greatest post is Sevadal and Sevadal and Sevadal. Anyway, now we shall come to the concluding part of my talk today, and that is regarding medical seva. As Mr. Duragaru was mentioning, Swami was very fond, most fond about medical seva. He asked one doctor, "Nikenthamandi pillalu?" Swami iddaru em cheyalanuntunnavu pedda kuturni. So he said, "Swami meer em cheptaru?" Then Swami said, "Doctor chepi. Seva cheyalante doctor ki minchina profession ledu." This is the first dictum of Swami on seva. And one thing I forgot to tell you is, I'll slightly go back, please pardon me. There are certain guidelines when we do seva at the organizational level also, which I have gained knowledge of it by experience. First thing is, the seva should be need-based. Ante akkada em avasaram undo acheyali. Luckily, medical seva is one which is universally required. Even for rich people, they require guidance, because as you know, nowadays so many specializations, super specializations. Patients don't know to which doctor they have to go. So even they require. But still, you should do seva that is need-based, and I'll give you an example. There is one Devanath school for the blind in Begumpet, where we used to go and do some Bal Vikas, our Bal Vikas teachers, and some medical help for them. But every day there used to be a blackboard, so there used to be one name. We asked, what is this name? It seems it is his birthday, and he is going to give a dinner for all the blind children. And it used to be a very rich dinner, and these children used to eat, and they used to have indigestion, diarrhea. And when we go and see the toilets, they're all very dirty. 2 women were there, but they could not manage. So what we did, we made the children sit and ask them, "Pillalara, please tell us what will make you happy." Then they said, "Sir, ikkada school lo nadavalante kuda maaku bayamu, pillariki taagtado, godaku taagtado. You please take us to an open park where we can run and run." So we arranged a tour after consulting the management to Sanjeevaya Park. A big bus we arranged. There were about 100 children. And then there we placed children who received them with, as you know, our traditional Veda chanting. And then we made the children line up. And we said, 1, 2, 3, we will tell you, then you can run. And the moment we told 1, 2, 3, they all ran till they were gasping and panting. So seva should be what the opposite individuals need. Not if suppose I have something extra, some oranges I will explain, distribute. Okay, that's also something is better than nothing. But sometimes nothing is better than nonsense. So, you know, seva should be like that. Secondly, the seva should give opportunity for many individuals to join. And in this, Lord Rama is an example. He could have killed Ravana with a single arrow where he was standing. He didn't do that. He took everybody along with him. The monkeys, the vanaras, the apes, human beings. Because in a dharmic work, it is said that chala mandi cheyi pettali. So whatever seva we do, medical seva, that's why it's a beautiful seva. You know, the onus is on the organizers. That is why Narayan Seva, what we were doing in Begumpet, was not that where women used to make some puliora, they'll make packets and distribute. No. 70 to 80 of us, we decided we'll do group. You know, samuhikaga cheste ఏ సాధన అయినా better మీకు తెలుసు. So one group would procure the articles, one group would do the cleaning and the decorating work, one group will do the vessels cleaning, one group will do the cooking, but all together. One serving, and in the end we used to give them even supari when they are going. And reception group we used to have, we used to receive them with, they were all rack pickers. Those days we had plenty of, but 600, 700 used to come out 150 kgs of rice here. And we followed Swami's dictum. Swami ఒకసారి అన్నారు, మీరు పూర్ ఫీడింగ్ చేస్తానని పూర్ ఫీడింగ్ చేస్తారు, ఏముండదు. Instead I tell you, give them the best which they have never tasted in their lives. So anduke sweet, fruit, the local Hyderabadi, they like biryani, kurma, then rasam, sambar, plain rice, everything we used to have. About 600 to 700, then we started a medical seva that became the launching pad for all other activities. So the seva which we do should give opportunity for as many as possible. That is our dictum, which we are already doing, but still as a guideline actually. And third, the seva should help in transmission of the higher values which Bhagavan has propounded. Seva is not the ultimate. We are using it as a medium for transmission and not let our own evolution. And in this respect, I again recall what Swami had told us, that your lives should be my message. And in this context, I would again quote one doctor whom I saw. He has come to this meeting today, my dearest friend, Dr. Ram Babu. Dr. Ram Babu, do you know, I went to Gandhinagar to deliver a talk. And when I came out, Dr. Ram Babu was there. Then the convener of the committee told me, Sir, nenu Sathya Sai Seva Samsthalo join ayyanante Ram Babu gar seva ma tandri chesinappudu adi chusi nenu join ayyanu. Please give a big hand for him. And even now, month after month, he comes to Prashant Nilayam and does ENT surgeries. Recently, he had done ENT to 2 deaf and dumb born children. He made them hear and talk. The first words which those 2 children spoke was Sai Ram. And even Seva, I don't know how many of you know, doctors also, what is called Sri Sathya Sai Ideal Healthcare. What happened was, international doctors had organized a meet in Los Angeles. At that time, they took out Swami's speeches wherever he had talked about doctors, medical service, all related issues, and put it at the lotus feet and told Swami, please give us 5 points, Swami. Swami said, I'll give you. And those 5 points are Sathya Sai Ideal Healthcare. Remember, wherever we do medical service, please keep this as the background thought, as the ideology. You may not be able to do everything immediately, but keep that as your right. First, Swami said, as you know, it should be totally free. You should not collect money under any head. Let it be registration. Then testlu chepistanu, mandulu merkonu. Even that, to the extent possible, we should avoid. Mandulu kuda. Secondly, he said, as you know, there should be no discrimination on caste, color, creed, all that you know. Thirdly, he said it should be comprehensive, encompassing the physical, emotional, and the spiritual dimension of the human personality. Fourth, important, very important, Swami said it should have a preventive focus. And that is why in the mobile hospital, we evolved a triangle, curative, preventive, spiritual. And we should work towards all these things, both when joined, it is like with humility we should do. So, the service should have a preventive focus. And fifth, Swami said it should be totally loving in nature. And for medical service especially, my dear friends, let not only doctors, all those in it, especially the frontline workers, the front office, those who are registering, those who are giving medicine, please, please do it with love. And love is not just because you have come and done seva, it should effuse out, it should exude, it should be in the form of, with folded hands, greeting them, holding them, and then if their reports are normal, congratulating them, and in the end silently thanking them for having given an opportunity to you to serve them. So these 5 points, Swami said, ee 5 points lekapote, this is a little, we feel apprehensive. Idi lekapote na peru pettakandi. Eredana peru pettuko. Sathya Sai Ideal Healthcare means these 5 points. And again, when we come back to the organizational level, just as bhajans and nagar sankirtan are always there in any samiti, medical seva also, by default, should be done by every samiti. But the question arises, sir, we don't have doctors. No. I would request Mr. Venkatrao Garu to kindly create an advisory group. I am telling you, I have kept my entire life for this only. I am available for 15 days in a month. I have such wonderful ideas. Whatever be the capacity, whatever be the talent, whatever be the resources, still medical seva can be done, which is useful to the beneficiary, not just for writing our reports. It can be done. We have wonderful ideas. Please make use of me. I am available all the time. We have to draft every district we take. How many samitis are there? We call this samiti, ask them how many doctors you have, how many this. And here's the funny thing, when I told Dr. Mohan, our trustee, diabetologist, he said, this idea we never got. I told them, why is it always you say, you feel the doctors should be only voluntary? See, for conducting Narayan Seva, are you not buying vegetables and all? Some money you're spending. So we have some freshly passed postgraduates. You know, if you pay them some 1,500 or 2,000, once a week or once a fortnight, they will come. After some time, they will themselves feel, oh, it is done in such a holy manner, let me not ask. So, you know, one samiti can do a psychiatry job, one dental, one. There are beautiful ideas. Now there's no time, but if we have it, and this should not be done in a speech and all. I request that we sit in a circle, all the medical coordinators, the state president, and then we really ask each one of them what is the available resources in your place. So medical seva by default has to be done. And finally, medical seva can be static or mobile, outreach. And when we do static services, the classic example is what I have seen today. It should be a specialty clinic. However small your samiti may be, please don't run general clinics. It will only be the so few people around who will come with khansi hai, bukar hai, and you'll write some crocin and all. No, let us do a specialty service. And now what they are doing is the most relevant service. Because as you all know, diabetes is now COVID number 2. We are calling it COVID number 2. 20 or 25% of the population is affected by diabetes. And all of them are going to land with kidney problems. We don't have facility for dialysis. It will be a huge expenditure for the government. So please start uni-speciality clinics of, say, diabetes, hypertension, even epilepsy. You can have one disease. Epilepsy clinic. In Tirupati, I saw one Dr. Mangamma. Please do that. Don't have specialty, general clinic. You can have one general doctor, somebody comes with cough, cold, you give it. Then the credibility also will be more. And again, rural outreach services. You know, everybody can't do it in the multi-specialty way as started by Bhagavan. So you can have uni-specialty outreach just as they have started dental uni-specialty. You can have Sathya Sai rural dermatology service. Dermatology is one field where so much requirement is there in villages. Diagnosis, they don't need anything except a magnifying lens and maybe a biopsy forceps. That's all. But carry all the medicine. What I mean to say is, your service need not be wide spectrum because of limitations. If it's possible, do it. It can be narrow spectrum, but it should have the depth in it. You should address all the problems of that specialty. One samiti can have Sathya Sai rural ENT service. Say if Dr. Rambabu is there. In fact, there's one organization, sir, is also a member of, called SAHI, which does such a wonderful work. So please start. Every samiti can do that. Every district should have at least 4 or 5, and the vehicle that is required need not be a big vehicle. Like psychiatry again, so much requirement is there. One psychiatrist, you can hire a psychiatrist for 2,000 rupees every Sunday and do the Sathya Sai rural psychiatric service. So anyway, there's a lot to talk about medical service, but I pray to Bhagavan, and I may go to the extent of in pleading with the organizational heads, please involve me, please use me. I'm not saying I'm the only one available, there may be others. Let us form a team, because medical seva is a professional seva. Papam meerandariki idi untundi, kani entaina meeku dani gurinchi avagana undadu. Even Doragaru was telling me just now, maaku teliyadu kada dani gurinchi. So let us use this beautiful occasion. Today is a very special day. Today is 30th anniversary. So Swami is already there, because Swami also used to do that number play. You know that very well. So I thank you all, my dear friends, my dear respected elders, for giving me a patient hearing. I might have made you sit for a longer time than expected, but still I think it is worth it, because we have 4 headings at the end of it. Because we are doctors, we can classify. First thing, we talked about how fortunate we are. Second thing, we thought, now that Bhagavan is not there physically, what does it mean? Third thing, we talked, how shall we conduct our lives? And fourth, we talked, how would we go about in our spiritual sadhana? Because for us, life is a conscious and a serious exercise. So these 4 headings can form the take-home message. I also will ponder upon it. You also can reflect upon it. And maybe one little step with Bhagavan's grace, we can move forward in our spiritual journey. My humble pranams to all of you and namaskar to Bhagavan.
Thank you so much, Dr. Narsimhan Garu. A very big round of applause for Dr. Narsimhan, please. That was a very long prescription, but a very useful prescription for all of us. And we will now move on. We would be very happy if Sri H.J. Doragaru can come forward. This is not a felicitation, but a token of our love from the Sri Sathya Sai Nigamagamam Trust, since Dr. Narsimhan has come all the way. May I request Sri Doragaru, Sri Venkatrao Garu to come forward and a token of our love to Dr. Narsimhan, please.
We also have another demonstration. In a few minutes from now, you will be witnessing a wonderful dance ballet that the Balavikas children and students of Sri Sathya Sai Nigamagamam. The children have been ready right from 8 a.m. this morning, sitting there at the corner of this auditorium. They'll be coming on board.